welcome to Runaway Spoon. I am sharing my fruit salad recipe with you today. This is my winter fruit recipe. It's got a ginger syrup with vanilla beans and blood oranges in it. So it's a little bit different, a little unique, because sometimes in the winter it's hard to actually find some fruit that's got some flavor to it. So it's going to start out with some ingredients that you can see on my cutting board here. These are blood oranges. You can typically find them in the winter months. They've got kind of a reddish hue to the rind of it. If you can't find blood oranges, you can go ahead and use regular oranges. The blood oranges are a little bit sweeter, a little bit more fruitier in flavor. We've got a mango that you want it to be semi-soft when you press on it. I've got a red pear, any pear will work, and papaya out here as well. Papaya is kind of an interesting fruit that doesn't get used a whole lot, but again, it comes into season in our winter months from where it's harvest. And we're going to start by just peeling up the mango here. And you can take a vegetable peeler to the mango. You can use your chef's knife or paring knife. I find that the chef's knife is probably the most important and the only knife I really use when I'm cooking. Things about mango is it's got a huge pit in the center. So if you've never worked with one before, go ahead and give it a peel. And then in the shape that you have left, you're going to find the pit in about the same shape as what you see here. So you're just going to carve around that giant pit. And if you hit the pit, you'll know because your knife will not cut through it. So I've carved pretty good around the edge here. It looks like the bottom was bruised a little bit, so we want to go ahead and just clean up the bruises off of it. Alright, and then we're just going to put a quick little cut on these. They don't need to be exact. The fruit salad ends up getting marinated in that syrup that I talked about. Alright, now we're going to take those blood oranges and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to peel around the outside of it and then go ahead and chop it up. So you can see the blood orange actually has the color of blood in the center. That's where the name comes from. It's just something really nice and colorful that sometimes in the winter months you need a little something to brighten it up. And you can very easily adapt this into the summer with any fruits you find in the summer. You're going to find a lot more berries, maybe even some pineapple that are actually ripe in the summertime. Alright, so once you've got them peeled, and you want the skins off of them too, which is why I'm peeling them with the knife, we're going to go ahead and just cut them into sections here. And they go right on in with that bowl with the mango. And we're going to take a pear. I'm going to leave the skin on the pear. It leaves a little bit more texture to the fruit salad and also a nice color that gets added to it. Again, a nice rough chop on it. Doesn't need to be exact. Sometimes in the winter months you can find Asian pears as well. That'd be a really nice addition in here as well. The flavors go together. It stays really crisp for a long time. Now we're going to take a look at the papaya. Papaya, you're going to peel it as well, so I'm going to do that with my chef's knife. And it's kind of like a traditional melon where there's seeds in the inside of it that are something you're going to want to remove. And papaya, you're looking for it to be nice and soft. The unusual thing about papaya versus other fruit is that it's not that sweet. Even though it can be ripe, and ready to be eaten. It doesn't have a whole lot of natural sugars in it. So it gives a nice mixture and texture difference to our current fruit salad that we're working on. And it's got a beautiful color to it. So now we're gonna cut it in half. My brother actually introduced me to papayas. They can be found pretty much at any store, but he actually fell in love with them. And these little seeds on the inside, he would roast them and then put them in his pepper grinder. And he would have papaya pepper on things, just for something different, just to be useful and not waste so many things. And it's something a little different. They're 100% edible, and they are pretty spicy if you just had a spoonful out of the center. So now that you've got your center of your papaya all cleaned out, all those seeds gone, which again are edible, just not what we want for the actual fruit salad here, we're just gonna put a couple rough cuts on it. You can see the nice color variation that we've got going on here. And then a couple more fun little fruits that get added to this. We're going to go ahead and add pomegranate seeds. It's really nice that there's some stores out there that already have the seeds out of the actual shell. If not, feel free to buy a whole one and then dig on in there and scoop the seeds out. They add a nice red color, contrast to everything else we've got going on. And then we're going to add kumquats. If you can find them, they are available typically in the winter months, and they're little baby oranges. And you don't actually peel them. The rind and everything are 100% edible, so you just cut them in half. They are quite tart, although for me, I like to just pop them and have them as a snack. Some people like to have them in a syrup. I think they add a nice pop of flavor to the other fruits that we have here. Throw that in our bowl. I'm going to get this out of the way here, and I'll talk a little bit about that syrup that I mentioned that kind of is a nice touch to winter fruits that may not always be as sweet as we want them to be. So what I did earlier today is going to be just a half a cup of sugar and a quarter of a cup of water into a little stock pot. I put in a whole vanilla bean. If you don't have a vanilla bean, you can do some extract. There's ginger slices in here. So I just took some fresh ginger and I peeled it and put just slices into the syrup as I brought it to a boil. And then I took part of an orange rind as well, and I just shaved off part of the blood orange rind and threw it in here and brought it up to a boil. You want to let this cool to room temperature, and then you're going to go ahead and pour it all over your fruit here. And then you're just going to give this a nice little toss. You can serve the fruit salad immediately, or it can sit and marinate for a couple hours. But it is definitely something that you want to make the day of and serve the day of. And the whole vanilla pod in there is not edible. It's going to be very chewy for somebody, but I think it gives a nice color contrast. And if you spent the money on a fresh vanilla bean, I kind of like people to know that it's in there and that's the flavor that they're looking for. All right. And Amy, there you go. That is my winter fruit salad. It's a nice medley, bright colors, and it should be a great asset to anyone's table.